Well, hello everyone, can you hear me okay? Brilliant. So what we're going to do is take you through our rather exciting conference game, which is called DigCap Play Track and the Groups for Capabilities. So the reason why it's called the Play Track is because you have your traditional conference track, which is all of you sitting here and listening to presenters, taking in all of their very sage and instructional knowledge, but you also have the option of a play track, so you can play along. If anyone would like to take part who isn't signed up already, please just come and see us. We do need your email address, and it's optional if you would like to use Twitter. You can gain some points, so we'll be going through that in a bit more detail in a moment. So what we're going to do is just tell you about the game. We're going to tell you about our learning outcomes. We've really derived this game from some core learning outcomes. What to do, and we'll cover any questions that you have. So, about us. So my name is Fiona McNeil. I'm Learning Technologies Advisor at the University of Brighton. And
I'm Fazana Latif. I'm Technology Enhanced Learning Manager at the University of Sheffield.
And we've collaborated to build this game for you, thinking very carefully about what you can gain from the conference. And we also really want to reward you for positive conference behavior. Yeah? So it's things you would be doing anyway. We want to make sure that we cherish that. So last year, we did run a game as part of the Spotlight on Digital Capabilities. And that involved taking Twitter selfies. And Farzana was one of our players. So it was great, and then you took that information and ran your own game.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear from this, but yeah, last year I got quite engaged with the game, and as Fiona said, we took it and used it at the University of Sheffield for a staff development event that we had, and then I think in turn Fiona asked me if I would co-collaborate on this game with her. So it's great, but it means I don't get to be part of the game this year, so that's the downside.
So our learning outcomes for the game, I'll let you read those. We do actually have them. We presented these in a pre-conference webinar as well. But the key thing is we, as I said, want to reward positive conference behavior. We're going to be using personas or personae to think about the digital capabilities of either a staff, a student, an academic staff person, or also an IT director. So I'll go through that in a minute. And then we want to think about how those personae might approach the technological issues that they're going to run into. And we also want to give you an understanding of gamification and how it can practically be applied in your learning and teaching situations, and whether it's something you might choose to use. And we want to use gamification to promote and support networking. So we're hoping that that will also come through in the game as well. So this year we've got, essentially in a nutshell, it's teaching with time travelers, a tight schedule, collaboration and bags of social media. That is our game. Time travel, hey? So what we've got here is we're going to play what's called a call to action video, which is all about this year's game. So hopefully that will play. Will that play, Lee? Or, yeah? Okay, cool.
Remember the Millennium Bug? We all thought that it didn't have an effect. We were wrong. In the year 2000, in a meeting room at the University of Croston, a small group were meeting about the implications of mobile phones to education. The group included an IT director, a student rep, an academic, and an admin staff person. As they digressed to talk about the cool effects in the Matrix, a small time anomaly developed in the experimental lab next door to their meeting room. The pulsating orb of time flux grew and grew until all of a sudden it engulfed the meeting room and time froze mid-sentence. 16 years later, in the middle of a senior management team meeting, the entire group rematerializes on top of the table in the center of the room. This puzzling occurrence thankfully explains the mysterious disappearance of the group, but they have a lot of technology to catch up on if they're going to work, learn, teach at the university in 2016. The IT department at Croston recognizes that this is no easy task and decides to employ groups of accomplished support professionals to take on teaching the time travelers some of the major digital capabilities that are essential in 2016. In order to teach the digital capabilities, you need to prove that you truly grok the capabilities. This can be achieved by completing both group and individual activities in order to contribute to the group's standing as accomplished trainers. Your challenge is to create a digital story outlining the current need-to-knows of digital capabilities. This story should be customized according to your group's assigned person, the IT director, the student, the academic staff person, or the admin staff person. Now, go forth and teach.
Okay, so now we're going to explain what that entails. So we'll take you through the steps that are involved in playing this game. So the first thing that you need to do is, if you've opted into the game, you need to find your group. And you can do that by going to our Ning site, which is the Digital Skills and Development Ning training community. You can see the URL up there if you want to take a screenshot of it or write it down. And when you get there, you'll see that there is a tab called DigCap Play. And then when you click on, when you hover over that tab, you'll see a Find Your Group option. So you go there first and you search for your name on that page, and then it will tell you which group you're assigned to. Now, we also have badges that tell you what group you're assigned to, so that's helpful. And it's also so you can identify each other. So you'll see a colour on your badge, and that helps you find people who are in your group. So last year, those of you who were here, you'll remember that the game was an individual venture. But this year, the game is a team cooperative venture. So that means that you can participate in the way that feels appropriate to you. So if you're really into Twitter, you can participate via Twitter. But if you're not into Twitter, you might take part in some of the other things we've got going on. So we'll go into that in a moment. When you've found your group, you need to go to your group base, which is underneath the same tab. And when you're in the group base area, you find your group. So again, it's color-coded. And you click on the group, and there's a join button inside the group page. And you'll see that some conversations have already gotten started there around these characters that we've been assigning, these people, because you need to think about your person that's been assigned to you, and you need to consider what they might need to learn. You need to give them a name, and think about what their background is and what their technology needs are. The other thing I'd like to say, if you haven't installed the conference app already, please do, because we're hoping to have an iBeacon which will be triggered in our introspective zone, which will award you points automatically via the conference app, and also take you to an information page about that area. So I'll be showing that on another slide in a moment. So when you get to your group, as I've mentioned, engage in the discussion, think about your person you've been assigned, and think about their path and needs in terms of technology. Step 3 is Twitter. So again, this is optional, but if you're on Twitter, it's a very easy way to gain points in this game. You might be thinking, well, what's this UDigCap focus hashtag? So you are probably, those of you on Twitter, very familiar already with the UDigCap hashtag. That's the main conference hashtag. But the UDigCap focus hashtag is a way for you to pinpoint specific tweets that you think might be applicable to this game task. So let's think, if you were listening to someone's presentation and you thought, you know what, that's something that my student person would really need to know. I want to tag it as part of the group activity to gain points. And the good thing about UDigCap Focus is it's unlimited points. So any tweet you tag with that is unlimited. But we want thoughtful tweets. We don't want just tweet for points. It's all about thinking about what does your person need to know in 2016. That's the main hashtag there. And then also, if you want to ask a question, because we have a Q&A session during this event, you can use the UDigCapQ hashtag. So that's a question hashtag. So you will gain points for retweets as well, and you will gain points for mentions. Okay? We also have an introspective area that you need to find. So that's an explorative angle to the game. We're not going to tell you where it is, but when you find it, there's some activities you can take part in there that you can also use just for fun or to experiment with new technology, but you can also gain points from them as well. And again, if you're not on Twitter and you'd like to gain some points for those, just evidence them for us somehow. So you could email me a picture. It's f.mcneil@brighton.ac.uk. You could come and show me a picture of something you've done. You could ask me to come and look at something if you like. So we're around and you can ask us any questions you have. So I'm going to pass you over to Farzana for some more information about the scoring elements.
Thanks, Fiona. Can I just have a raise of hands if you're participating in the game?
Wow, that's awesome.
So I think more than less, let's say. And how many of you have started tweeting? Just a raise of hands if you... Okay, so there's a few of you, so that's good. So Fiona's kind of explained the different things you can do to get points in the game. And have many of you managed to pick up this scorecard? If you haven't, there's some of them at the front desk. Yeah, I can see one there. Basically it's a summary of this. And the reason we thought it was really important to provide you with the scorecard is because there are lots of activities that you can engage with. And we didn't want the whole game to be a barrier in any way. We wanted to make it very clear and very transparent as to what you would get points for. So just to summarise then, many of you have participated in the pre-conference task, which was to sign up to the NING website. So that's, you can get 1 point for participating, so that was limited and capped in terms of how many points you could get. If you tweet with the UDigCap hashtag, you get 1 point per tweet. And that's capped to 20 points. And the reason we've capped it is because we want quality, not quantity. If you tweet with the UDigCapQ, you can get 2 points for each tweet, and we've capped that to 8 because there's only limited opportunities to do that anyway. And then if you're focusing on the activity, it's UDigCap with focus at the end. So that's 2 points per tweet because we know that's more challenging. And because that's the core part of the game, you can get unlimited points on that. But we are monitoring what's happening, so quality. And if your tweets are any of the tweets that you've tweeted or retweeted, you get extra points for that. But that's capped to 15 because it's not a popularity contest. And if you're mentioned with any of these hashtags, you can get a point as well, and that's capped to 15. When you enter the introspective area, which, as Fiona said, is hidden, and we're not going to tell you where that is, but I'm sure you can ask a conference organiser, they might tell you. And that's capped to 8 points. But as Fiona says, you'll get points automatically for entering the introspective area. But you have to have the Usizer app installed on your phone. You need to have logged in with the email address that you used to sign up to the conference, and you also need to have Bluetooth switched on because we're using a technology called beacons to pick up that you're in that area. And don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about. Me and Fiona will be in the introspective area and we can help you out with that. And then finally there's bonus points as well. So as Fiona said, we're trying to encourage creativity. So there are points at our discretion, very empowering for us. And there's also hidden points. So pay particular attention when you're having tea and coffee. You might be able to score yourself an extra 5 points. So, right, I'm going to pass you back over to Fiona, who's going to tell you a bit about the digital story.
So this is a good point for me to tell you about also your champions as well. So you may have noticed, if you've had a look at the NING site, that each group has a champion. This role is really a facilitator. They're not your leader, but they are there to help answer any questions. And for the most part, they're people who are either from the UCISA Digital Capabilities group, or they're also people who played last year, who were like freaking awesome players, and we wanted to reward them for being great and to also help guide you in this sort of gamification activity. So they may help to facilitate impromptu meetings. And what we've done in the coffee area is, you'll see on the wall, there are some coloured sheets of paper for each of your group colours. So you'll be able to say, meet in our meeting zone, or meeting area, at this time, and you could discuss some game strategy and meet in person. So the first opportunity to do that would be during the coffee break, but I'll leave it up to you as to how you organise that and how you meet up. In terms of collating the digital story, we're much more interested in the journey than the destination. So you can choose what tool you use to collate your digital story. It could be Storify, and you pick the top 5 best UDigCap focus tweets that have come out of your group. So it doesn't have to be a very in-depth story. It's more picking out the really key things that you think your character or person needs to know. You could use a Padlet board, if anyone's ever used Padlet. You could use your Ning group. The most important thing, though, is just to let Farzana and I know what you're using, because we'd like to give you kudos for it. We'd like to see what you're working on, especially because there are some people who are only here for the day, and they'll be here, you know, other people will be here tomorrow. We want to see just an accumulative little story building. The other thing I would say, just going back to the scoreboard that Farzana showed you, is that today we have accumulative scores for the group for the day, and it will be the same tomorrow. So at the end of today, there will be an award, which brings us on to the next thing, we'll show the awards in a minute, but there will be an award for the highest ranked group. Okay, and then tomorrow there'll be another award for the highest ranked group. So your group could win twice, or it could be 2 separate groups these 2 days. But the point is, we wanted to give everyone an equal chance, even if they're just coming today or if they're just coming tomorrow, to participate in the game. So the scores will be zeroed tomorrow, except for the pre-conference scores. This brings me nicely on to our leaderboard. So how do we track all of this? How do we know what's going on? We've got a RISE leaderboard for this event. So that's what it looks like, and you'll see that there'll be groups there, and if you click on the name of your group, you can go in and have a look at how the group's doing, what it scored on different things, and there's a reminder of all the scores in there as well. You can also filter by group using the right-hand filter column, and you can also have a look at how you're personally doing as well. So you can keep drilling down in the scores and have a look at how you're doing, because you might get some fantastic points for creativity and be like, wow, I wonder what I did. You could ask us. So that's how it works. And I'll pass you over to Farzana for the final part.
Okay, so to recognise your participation, we are offering digital badges. So as an individual, you can get, if you score 10 points, you can get the UCISA participation badge. So, and you'll be provided with details as to why you've got that as well. So we're using Credly to give out the badges, and it'll go to your Sheffield, your university user address, the one that you signed up with. And then there's a badge for the team that wins at the end of the day. And there's a team badge for tomorrow for the person that wins as well. So that'll be automatically sent out to the teams at the end of the day. And there's also a mystery, let's say, prize that you'll receive as well if your team wins, but we won't tell you now because we want to keep you excited and encourage competitiveness amongst you all.
So that's all we have to say, but if you have any questions, please just come and see us.